What if one small change could improve your energy, your sleep, your weight, your mood, and even the way your brain works? It sounds like a miracle, but it's actually just what can happen when sugar is removed from the daily diet for just 30 days. Not just white sugar in coffee or candy, but the hidden sugars in sauces, breads, crackers, and even so-called healthy snacks. Cutting it all out, even for a month, can set off powerful changes in the body, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let's start with the basics. Sugar comes in many forms: glucose, fructose, corn syrup, honey, agave, and more. It's not always labeled clearly, but the body processes them in similar ways. When sugar enters the bloodstream, it causes a quick spike in blood sugar. In response, the body releases insulin to bring those sugar levels down. But if this happens again and again, day after day, it leads to something called insulin resistance. That's when the body stops responding properly to insulin, which can make fat harder to burn, hunger harder to control, and energy levels more unstable. Most people are surprised to learn that bread, pasta, white rice, and even potatoes break down into sugar almost as fast as candy. These are starches, long chains of glucose that get digested very quickly. So a sandwich or a bowl of cereal might not taste sweet, but it can spike blood sugar almost the same way as a dessert. That's why a sugar reset means cutting both added sugars and refined carbs. Now, what happens in the first few days of quitting sugar? This is where it gets challenging. Many people experience cravings, headaches, low energy, or irritability. The brain, used to quick sugar hits, sends strong signals asking for more. Sugar, after all, triggers the same brain pathways as addictive drugs. It gives a fast dopamine hit, which feels good in the moment, but leaves the brain asking for more next time. That's why quitting sugar can feel like withdrawal. But here's the good news. This phase usually only lasts a few days. By day 3 or 4, the body starts adjusting. Insulin levels begin to drop. The brain starts finding new ways to feel good without sugar. And the body begins shifting to fat as its main fuel source, which is far more stable. This process leads to fewer energy crashes, fewer mood swings, and fewer food cravings. Around the end of the first week, many people notice their appetite calming down. That urgent need to snack, especially in the afternoon or evening, starts to fade. With insulin lower, fat burning becomes easier. The body begins to access stored fat for energy instead of relying on sugar from food. And without the sugar roller coaster, blood sugar levels become more steady, which means fewer dips in mood and less anxiety. There's also a mental shift happening. When sugar is removed and the brain isn't constantly stimulated by sweet hits, something remarkable happens. Taste buds reset. Foods that once seemed bland suddenly taste rich and flavorful. Fruit starts to taste incredibly sweet. Even vegetables take on more flavor. This change often surprises people who've been used to sugar-heavy diets. After a few weeks, many discover they actually enjoy natural foods more, and sweet treats may even start to taste too sweet. But the benefits don't stop at taste. Something deeper starts happening in the brain. One of the key changes is the boost in a natural chemical called BDNF, short for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's like a kind of fertilizer for the brain, helping brain cells grow, repair, and connect. Sugar tends to lower BDNF while exercise and fasting raise it. So when sugar is removed and movement is added, even light walking, the brain starts getting stronger. People often report clearer thinking, better focus, and even better memory after a few weeks without sugar. By week 3, most people feel a major difference. Energy is more stable throughout the day. Mood is more even. Sleep improves. Cravings for sweets have mostly faded. Clothes may start fitting looser, even without counting calories or cutting fat. That's because fat burning is turned back on. With insulin lower, the body naturally begins to use stored fat as fuel. And here's another bonus. Hunger becomes more predictable and manageable. Instead of feeling hangry or needing snacks every few hours, people start going longer between meals. That's not from willpower. It's because their blood sugar isn't crashing all the time. Eating becomes something to enjoy, not something driven by emotional spikes or crashes. Now let's talk about what starts to happen inside the body after 30 days without sugar. This is where the real magic happens, and it often shows up in lab results. Blood glucose levels tend to drop, and so does something called A1C, a measure of average blood sugar over several months. Triglycerides, fats that circulate in the blood, often fall, especially in people who were eating a lot of carbs and sugar before. HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, tends to rise, and inflammation markers, often hidden but powerful, start to come down. Fatty liver, a condition caused largely by sugar, especially fructose, begins to reverse. The liver starts burning fat instead of storing it. This can help reduce belly fat, lower blood pressure, and improve hormone balance. For many people, even their skin gets better. Less redness, fewer breakouts, and a healthier glow. The immune system also gets a boost. Sugar suppresses immune cells, making the body more vulnerable to viruses and infections. When sugar is removed, immune function improves, and the body becomes more resilient. This has become especially important in recent years, when stronger immunity can make a real difference. Mental health improves too. Less sugar means fewer mood swings, less anxiety, and lower risk of depression. The brain becomes more sensitive to natural pleasure again. Things like music, nature, movement, or conversation feel more rewarding. And because sleep improves, emotional resilience grows. People feel calmer, more focused, and more in control. But perhaps the biggest benefit of all is the mindset shift. After 30 days without sugar, most people realize how much they were relying on it, not just for energy, but for comfort, for boredom, for stress. Once that pattern is broken, it becomes easier to make better choices going forward. Many decide to keep going, not out of discipline, but because they simply feel better. That doesn't mean never having a treat again, but it means enjoying it on purpose, not out of habit or craving. The reset gives the brain and body a chance to feel what it's like to be free from the sugar trap. And that freedom often leads to better habits that last far beyond 30 days. So, to wrap it all up, quitting sugar for 30 days can reset taste, mood, energy, sleep, metabolism, brain function, and even lab tests. It's not always easy in the beginning, but the results come fast, and they last. Removing sugar helps the body burn fat, balance hormones, calm cravings, and build real energy from the inside out. What's one change you've noticed after cutting sugar? Or what part of this surprised you most? Drop a comment below. It helps others learn and share. If this video made sugar and health easier to understand, subscribe to the channel for more down-to-earth, science-backed advice that really works. And tap the bell icon to get notified about the next video. It could be the next step in your health journey. Thanks for watching, and here's to more energy, better health, and smarter choices one day at a time.